Welcome back to Sunrise. If you're just joining us, good morning. As men, we know sometimes many of us find it difficult to articulate our thoughts and feelings clearly when trying to win an argument. In some cases, frustration with communication can reach to the extreme and may even turn into violence or unhealthy discourse. My next guests, I can confidently say, have fully developed the skill of winning an argument in a productive and positive way. Here to share with us this morning, I have Professor Eric Smaw of Rollins College in Florida, Professor Michael Hester of the University of West Georgia, and Jermaine Barrett. Jermaine, you're familiar with. He's the president and CEO of Jade Limited. Welcome to Sunrise, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome. And Jermaine, we're going to start with you. You're hosting these eminent professors. Tell us first, a reminder of yours, what's Jade and what this event is all about.
All right, so Jade stands for the Jamaican Association for Debating and Empowerment. And we're hosting our friends here because we are developing a relationship where we're supporting each other to expand debating in our respective countries.
Right.
So we visited them a few months ago. We visited Rollins 2 years in a row. We visited West Georgia, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
And so they are just excited to be here with us to support the work that we're doing in terms of hosting the Jade Debate Academy and Open, which is ongoing right now.
Right. Now, you said debate and empowerment because many people believe that debate is either a hobby activity, an extracurricular activity at the high school level and at some extent to the tertiary level. But debate and the ability to have conversation and to resolve issues and to negotiate solutions go beyond a contest. So we're going to start with you, Professor. Why are you a part of this activity first and foremost?
So my connection with this activity goes back to my love for this country. About 9 years ago, I made my first trip to Jamaica, and I fell in love with it. It's being from the southeastern United States, the climate was similar, and so when I would come in December, it would remind me of Georgia in June. I appreciated that. The people are wonderful.
Hold on a second. December in Jamaica is like Georgia in June. So with us complaining now that it is freezing here in Jamaica.
It's still cool right now, but leaving cold, wet Georgia to come to Jamaica in December was quite nice. So I done that for several years, and actually was on the look for, is there a debate happening in Jamaica, and came upon Jade and their website, Jamaican Association for Debating and Empowerment, reached out to Professor Barrett, and we began a conversation that led to Jade students and Mr. Barrett and Javon Henry visiting in October to do a public debate that we had with a team from Rwanda at the University of West Georgia in October, and then working here. So that was the connection. So it's because I love Jamaica.
Yeah, and welcome again.
Thank you.
You, sir.
So I'm from Rollins College, and we have an international component to our school. Our debate team is integral to our international component. And one of the things we look to do is expand debating across the globe and inside of the United States. So we have what we call an international debating exchange with many schools throughout the world. So Cambridge has been to our school, Oxford has been to our school, schools from China, India, of course, Jamaica. And so that's how I connected with Jermaine. I called him up. I requested that he meet with us. He happily obliged, and then we developed what we call the Rollins Jamaica International Debating Exchange. So every so often, we'll invite Jade to Rollins for a week of debating. During that week, they will debate at local high schools and colleges in the Central Florida area. In the middle of the week, we'll have what's called the main debate. That is called the Great Debate. And we'll bring Jade in with Rollins to have the great debate on a topic of international importance to both countries. And so that's my connection here. It started with my schools reach out to the international community to bring other debating societies into our school. And we wanted to reach out to Jamaica and the Caribbean as well.
And Jermaine, this platform is now located properly at the National University, the University of Technology.
Indeed it is.
I finally said it publicly. National University.
Rightly so. And so, the University of Technology, Jamaica, has been a fabulous supporter and encourager of debating across Jamaica. In fact, the patron of the event is the university's president, Professor Stephen Bassiani, and so we're delighted at that.
Yes.
And just the outpouring of support. And so this year in particular has been the strongest staging of the event to date.
Right. How many years has?
So this is its third edition of the exchange, the academy and open.
Yes.
And it really is designed around giving students an opportunity to learn a vast amount of content in various areas. So we're looking at debating, generally speaking, core ways of arguing effectively, but we're looking at also building their competencies and knowledge in various areas. So we have several electives. We had morality and ethics yesterday. We're going to be having human rights today, which is exciting.
What time does that begin?
It runs all day. I'm not sure what the exact timing is, but I mean, at any point in the day, several concurrent electives might be going on.
And this would have been planned months and weeks ago.
It had been weeks.
The backdrop that is happening across the political landscape in Jamaica is just a catalyst or a coincidence to these events on the issue of human rights and ethics.
It happens to be a coincidence. It happens to be a coincidence, and we think that it's right that we're doing this right now, because young people in particular need to be engaged at a level where they participate in the democracy, and they recognize that they too have a role. It's not just about tweeting and engaging in social media, disconnected from what's happening in their country, but they need to know. And so we're trying to have them become excited about knowledge, about grasping information, and then also to participate in the conversation that needs to happen as well. So
I don't know if you gentlemen had met Norma Rochester before she passed, but if Norma Rochester was still alive, Jermaine, she would have been at these events yesterday and today.
Oh, yes.
And I remember she once said, the value of what you have to say is not measured by the volume at which you say it.
Yes.
And then she went on to say that actually those two things are usually inversely proportional. So the higher the volume, the lower the value. What is there for the value to proper debating and to the abilities to articulate convincingly your points of view?
Well, the example that you gave of recent political discussions is important, but I think one of the reasons why we understand debate as being integral to the curriculum is every day people are making decisions based on the information that they have and their ability to digest the information that's coming to them to make choices. Those choices, that's debate. You're debating with yourself all the time. What you're going to wear, what you're going to eat, where you're going to travel, where you're going to attend religious services, which schools you're going to attend. Those are all debates that you're having with yourself or with your family or with other community members. And so what debate teaches you is how to be aware, be a critical listener, understand good information. There is a gentleman in the United States, Dr. Stephen Glass, who once said that debate teaches empathy. It teaches you how to truly understand the other side, which is perfect for what Mrs. Rochester's comment is, because when you have a better understanding, you don't feel the need to talk as loud to make your point. One similar saying that we would have is the difference between having to say something versus having something to say. Debate teaches you having something to say.
Yes. And for you, sir?
Absolutely. So we think of debating as a community event. And so I was glad to hear Jermaine talk about debating in the context of democracy. So the reason why we believe that everybody has a voice and everybody must participate is because democracy requires participation of all of its citizens. When we find that only some citizens participate and others do not, the ones who participate will participate in their own interests and close out the ones who don't participate. So we believe that debating is incredibly important for the purpose of showing people how to participate in a democracy, for the purpose of making the democracy strong. And every single question that comes up in a debate is a question for the entirety of the democracy. So we often phrase a resolution in terms of this House believes, because the teams debating are representing positions, and those positions need not be their own personal position. They're representing the position for the House or for the community. Or if it's a debate that happens in the entire country, they're representing positions for the entire country. And the question for the country is, which way do you go? Do you elect somebody who will lead you towards democracy? Do you elect somebody who will lead you away from democracy?
Right. Or toward a particular outcome or the approach?
Absolutely.
Oftentimes, Jermaine, the outcomes are, however expressed, identical if achieved.
Right.
It's the approach
Sure.
that the disconsent or the disconcertion exists around. Let me ask a specific question in terms of the proceedings yesterday and today and the element of participation. We have become familiar with low voter turnouts on the actual day of casting a ballot. But in 21st century democracies and societies, does that even represent a requirement for participation anymore, the casting of a ballot, when you could post a tweet, Jeremy?
Right. And so, and that's an important question. So we don't necessarily take the position that persons necessarily need to go to the polls to cast a ballot. We say fundamentally you need to participate.
Right.
Yes.
And participation can be through many means, right? Some persons find it advantageous for themselves to vote. That might be good. We don't take a position on that. What we say, fundamentally, engage in your democracy. Be an active participant in the development of your society.
Right.
And let your voice be heard.
So the lotto slogan, if you don't have a ticket, you don't have a chance.
Yeah.
If you don't cast a ballot, do you have a voice?
Well, you know, democracy transcends the ballot box. It goes beyond the elections. And so what we're trying to do, certainly, is to get participants across the island to continuously engage
And to
in the administration of the society,
Right.
and to contend, right,
Yes.
to have a voice and to speak. And you made a point, quoting Norma Rochester, that it's those who speak the loudest that are oftentimes heard.
Yes.
I have a particular interest in how classroom and the school system is administered in Jamaica. And one of the interesting things we're doing for this academy is we're having a special workshop on debating in the curriculum that Professor Michael Hester will be leading along with Javon. And what it's designed to do is to give teachers the capacity to understand how it is that you can use elements of debating in the classroom to get better educational outcomes. And that's something I'm fascinated by, because in our classrooms, we oftentimes, first of all, we have overcrowded classrooms.
Yes.
And only those students who are willing to speak get heard. And then you have the little boy, Tom or Mary, at the back of the classroom, whose head is always down, who is not paying attention, and the teacher is unable to engage with that student. So we're going to be sharing with them ideas about how it is that we can engage the entire classroom, and we can have classroom being so much fun.
I'm having deja vu. I wish you could press the rewind button. Actually, my teachers at St. George's College wish you could press the rewind button, which is a perfect time to take a break.
Yes.
We're going to continue the value of better debaters and better debating to society and to the success of a population when we come back from the break.